Hi everyone, welcome to another episode on HushPuppi. On the show today I'll be talking about the arrest of HushPuppi and MrWoodBerry. Who is HushPuppi? Why were they arrested? And what does that mean for Nigeria or Africa at large? I am Hassan. Welcome to HushPuppi. Alright, so now HushPuppi's real name is Ramon Olorunwa Abbas. His real name is Ramon Olorunwa Abbas, and MrWoodBerry's real name is Jacob Olalekan Bonle. Now, who are these people? Why were they arrested? That's the next question, right? They were arrested for reasons that is, of course, is internet scam. They were allegedly internet fraudsters, and why am I talking about it? Why is it making the rounds? That should be the next question. I think that's because HushPuppi has been known on the internet they call them social influencers. He has over 2.4 million followers. He demonstrates a life of opulence, living lavishly and wearing expensive things, and you know, the young kids in Nigeria will want to be like a man like that. You know, a man that has made it, so to say. We don't know how he got his money from, but everybody wants to be like that man that has made it. Now, the same thing goes for Olalekan Bonle, that is MrWoodBerry. He's 29 years old. He just turned 29 actually this year, and he's a really interesting character. Now, I want to go to the details of the gist of the arrest and what they did, because I arrested it. They're alleged to be internet scammers, fraudsters. So what did they do? Why were they arrested? Because this really happens, right? But if you're linked to schemes that goes into tens of millions of dollars, best believe that the FBI is going to come for your butt. But these guys are based in the UAE, that's United Arab Emirates, Dubai. So, did the FBI go and arrest them in Dubai or in Interpol? No. This is how it went down. The Dubai police, in conjunction with the FBI, made this arrest. So the Dubai police arrested them and then handed them over to the FBI. And now these guys are here in America right now, in Chicago, and I think HushPuppi, as it's mostly called, will be tried in California. The gist to all of this I will tell you in a short while. But what I want to focus today, really, as bad as this whole thing is for these guys, what I want to focus mainly today is why or how did it get to this point that we have this guy has over 2.4 million HushPuppi. I don't know how much followers Woodberry has, but 2.4 million followers of Nigerians, of young people trying to live a la vida loca kind of life. What is wrong with our value system? That's the question. And what has aided this sort of wealth glorifying culture of we don't care, you got it, but since you got it, we gotta have to celebrate you. How did it get to this point? That's what I want to talk about today. But it's always good to give us a little background of what happened, how it happened, and things of that nature. I know everybody wants to know that. So I'll just limit it to a few things. If you want to get the full gist, you can go to, I'll put a link below, but you can always go to one second. You can always go to the United States Attorney's Office. There's a central district, the United States Attorney's Office, the Attorney of the United States. So the site is justice.gov. When you go there, under the Central District of California, you get the gist of HushPuppi, and I go to the Central District of Chicago, Illinois, you get the gist of what's his name, Woodberry. So when you go to justice.gov, the United States Attorney's Office, Northern District of Illinois, you're gonna get the full details of Woodberry, and if you go to the United States Department of Justice, you go to Central District of California, you get the gist of HushPuppi. So Woodberry is in Chicago, HushPuppi is in California. All you have to do is just go to justice.gov. There's United States Department of Justice. You get all the stories in there. But the link to it, if you need a link, I will give you the link. It's the site is called. I'll put everything in the mention. I just want to talk about them real quick. So there's a site that I checked on. I mean, BBC has this gist, BBC, CNN, ABC, name them. But Security Boulevard actually did a good job. So you go to securityboulevard.com. They have an article about this guy. It's called HushPuppi and MrWoodBerry BEC Scammers. Welcome to Chicago. So yeah, you will get a lot of this stuff going on. You get this gist. Everything is there. Now, so those are my sources and a lot more. So I want to go back to the details. Now, this thing, like I said, is all allegedly, so I'm not trying to, they call it social media, what do they call it? Public justice. No, that's not what I'm doing here. I'm just stating what I know and my opinion of this whole incident. It's big. Now, let's make it small. HushPuppi is linked to 3 different schemes or scams. That's one of the reasons why they arrested him. 3. I mean, of course, when they were arrested, when they burst into his apartment and they saw about $41 million cash in his house, that's HushPuppi's house. Cars worth of $6.3 million, hard drives that details the addresses of their victims, totaling to about 2 million victims. You know, when you have that going on, you have so many hard evidence that they have when they busted his house, that they found in his house, has really put him in a very bad situation. You know, $40 million cash is a lot of money. Is a lot. So that is that about his involvement, and of course Woodberry's case is different, but there's a connection between these 2 guys. So back to what I was trying to say. HushPuppi's case was based on his alleged scam of a New York law firm that was about $1 million last year. His involvement in the money heist of a bank in Malta. The bank is called Bank of Valletta, BOV Bank. Bank of Valletta, BOV. And his attempt to scam an English soccer club, an English Premier League soccer club of about £100 million. That is $124 million. That is the reason why this guy was arrested. Now, there's a whole lot of other things that they are doing, but that's the 3 things that I've read that is the reason why the FBI had to arrest these guys. And mind you, the FBI has been getting their facts since last year. They've been monitoring their every step. I mean, it's out there in plain sight. It's a secret in the open. They are on social media, living lavishly, dropping clues and bombs on their Snapchats of their whereabouts, of what they're doing. So it's not that hard for this secret for the law enforcement to, narrow them down and get some things out. And I've honest for Woodberry, the Olalekan Ponle, who's a 29-year-old guy, and HushPuppi is 37, Woodberry is 29. His own case is even more staggering. He scammed a company in Chicago. I don't know if it's the same company, maybe twice. Yeah, they had to do in Chicago. One is about $15 million, and the other one is $2.3 million. and he has a whole lot of other companies that he has scammed in America, some in Iowa, New York, Kansas, name it, California. This guy is all over the place. Now, let us now look at the kind of scheme that they use to do all of these things. It's called the BEC scheme. That is the business email compromise. That is the one, that's kind of stuff that they use to scam these people of all this wealth, of the hard-earned money. So this one is like it's computer intrusion. They hack into your system. They study how the company interacts with their clients, and they use that information and their pattern of talking of communication with the clients to now act as an imposter that the client will not know that, or maybe, or vice versa, and then they act like that, and they have the clients or the company send wire money to a different account. They convince you to wire money to the different account, and when you do that, that's how the money goes. The money is gone. But of course, the money can't just go like that. Like, they need money mules, and money mules are people that basically are paid to fraudulently open an account for these scammers in a different country. Like, for instance, these guys are based in Dubai. Until now, they've been expelled from Dubai. So the money mules is basically going to they're going to ask him to open an account, maybe in California or whatever, depending on where they know the person or what the kind of access the person has. I don't know the full gist. So the person opens the account, and the account, they move those funds to that account, and the money goes like that. So that's what they do. So I want to believe some bankers will be involved in this, because it's highly organized and it's really difficult for the government to tame this. And I'll read it with some numbers. So for instance, in 2019 alone, all right, the FBI said that it had received more than 460,000 complaints of suspected cyber fraud, with losses of more than, listen to this, of more than $3.4 billion, and we're only able to recover $300 million. So imagine $3.4 million lost, and they're only able to recover $300 million. So that's one of the things that is just really bad about this cyber fraud. And we have a situation whereby about 90% of business email compromise schemes or scams originate from West Africa, and with Nigeria as the focal point. So they are basically saying now that about $3.4 billion just in 2019, most of that money are from scammers, were stolen by scammers in Nigeria. Most of it, if 90% of it is done in West Africa, and Nigeria is the king of it, just common sense. So that's what that one is talking about. Now, in WoodBerry's case, because the FBI recently came out to say that the one that WoodBerry allegedly stole may be impossible to recover, because he had stashed the money in the Bitcoin market, and the money had been sold off. So the money just grows in value. The guy doesn't have the money cash, unlike HushPuppi that had $40 million cash in his house. So I don't know how they'll have figured that out. Maybe they reach a plea bargain or something. Who knows? It's also important for us to know that if found guilty, there's a statutory, that is a compulsory jail time of 20 years in prison if these guys are found guilty. So that they are likely to serve 20 whole years. That's a good part of their life will be in jail. Now, I want to quickly link us to this. So the reason why they are tried in America is because most of their fraudulent schemes were on American companies or American individuals. Almost 2 million of them. That's staggering. The FBI have been monitoring these guys for a minute, and if you think that because you are in Dubai, you're in some other country, that they cannot come for you, they can. They all have to do is to collude with the authorities of that country, and they'll come for you, because there are facts now of like the FBI. From what I read, the FBI was able to get information from Snapchat, Instagram, Google, and Apple, because from there they were able to ID these guys, their real name, because they were not using their real name. Woodberry, HushPuppi, that's not their real name. Even their scam name is not that. So they were able to ID them, and they were able to figure out where they were living and all those things. So if you're on social media or anything at all, if you're on the internet, because you do just come on the internet, they can always trace you. They can always trace everything back to you. The only thing is that, is the government willing to go all out for you? That's the only question. But if they are willing to do that, they can do it. But it's a lot of money, it's a lot of documentation that is involved. That's why they are always seem to shy away from coming for you. So don't think that they cannot come for you. When you scam people of millions of dollars like this, imagine $3.5 billion just in 2019 lost to BEC and internet scammers. That is staggering. Most of which are in Nigeria, by the way. So now, like I said, I told you about the thing, the HushPuppi's kind of scam, and that of WoodBerry. So the link between HushPuppi and WoodBerry really is because allegedly, from the information that they received from HushPuppi's email, his Google account, it shows that he had the receipt of a transaction, like maybe helping of the $2.3 million that WoodBerry actually allegedly scammed a company in Chicago in 2019. HushPuppi helped him to get an account to funnel that money to. All right, so that's why he was involved. So HushPuppi helped him to launder that money into a different account, and then maybe then he moved into a Bitcoin, because most of the money that the WoodBerry has, Mr. WoodBerry, Olalekan Ponle has been funneled into the Bitcoin cryptocurrencies. So they don't have anything, but allegedly we don't know how this case will pan out as this case unfolds. That's the connection. And the reason HushPuppi will be tried in California is because the money merely used, one of the money merely used is open an account in California, open a bank account in California. That's how the FBI in California got involved with this case. So it's all over the place. They really made a lot of people cry. But I want to just let this sink in for a second. If it's alleged that you've scammed about 2 million people, that is 2 million lives. And if one person knows at least one person, that's 4 million lives, at least, that has been affected by what you've done. And remember, these are companies. So a company might have like 5, 10 staff, right? Or 20, 50, 100. How would this affect the company moving forward in terms of payment or operation? Actually, just think about it. So you've robbed people of the handed money. You've robbed firms that will not be able to operate effectively of their gains. About 2 million. That is really, really bad, and it's a shame that of all of this that's going on, what everybody seems to say is these are the Nigerian scammers. These are the Nigerian scammers. I mean, these guys are on BBC, CNN, every ABC, all the news. They're happy to get the kingpins. I can't remember the last time CNN, BBC, other people celebrate like this with this kind of energy a Nigerian success story. I can't remember. I can't remember the last time they celebrate a Nigerian astronaut, a Nigerian mathematician, and things of that nature. Doesn't mean that we don't have people like that. Best believe we have people like that, or an African, something like that. We have. But when it's to paint the black nation with a black brush, they are quick to do that. They are quick to paint us with a black brush. So with the black paint, and that's another way to look at it. The way we are being projected. So that's why you see people now going to traveling abroad. The way their question is different. The way their search is different. The moment you show that green passport, you are like you have the bullseye on you. So this is what is going on, and even not just for travelers, even for firms, for companies to even do business with the Nigerian nation, they are on the high alert because it's Nigeria. They are scammers. So we are not only losing money as a nation, our reputation is being dented, and our people are because of these activities seem to have less opportunity because of these things that these guys are doing. That's that. Now, the more important thing I want to focus on on this podcast is, why are we in this situation? Why are we here? How do we find ourselves in this situation? Okay, from what I know, they said everything went bad since the time of Babangida. That he was the one that, encouraged scams. They call him Maradona, that was always dribbling Nigeria and all that, and everything started just snowballing from there. But the thing I want us to see is this: the reason why we're in this situation, in my opinion, is poor leadership. Nigeria is essentially right now a failed country that don't seem to know what it's doing, despite having all that wealth. And Sheikh Shagari saying that our problem is not about having money, our problem is about spending the money. Wow. And secondly, our leaders, I'm talking about the religious leaders, they always seem to preach prosperity, wealth. God wants us to be rich. God is wealth, and God is wealthy, and all those things. I'm talking about even the pastors and the imams and all of them. And thirdly, of course, are the influencers themselves. I'm talking about the musicians, the movie stars, the those people that are always in our ears and our eyes, and we see them all the time. Because I remember a music that I myself even like. It was very rhythmic, but the lyrics of the song is basically praising fraudulent activities. I will not mention the artist's name, but it's called As a Living Thing. He's talking about he does not care. It was in Yoruba language. Kinshati lowo olelo bomoje kinshati lowo waya kinshati lowo money order. I want temi shashe won shashe loru moju. Temi osun for foju korun, but you, the lazy one, you are sleeping. Or Google, just sort of those things. And in that song, he actually mentioned all of these guys' names. So if you want to investigate those names, you can listen to the song. It's called Living Thing, and have him to explain, or they should come and talk about how those guys made their money. And let's start from there. But another interesting thing is this, though. Nigeria as a country itself has not really, the Nigerian police has not really arrested and prosecuted an alleged criminal that's doing fraud, that makes his money fraudulently in internet scammers. They've not done that. They've not prosecuted anyone publicly. Even our politicians that steal money, they don't get prosecuted in Nigeria. Most of the time, they get their judgment in overseas for money laundering. And there's so many angles to this thing that I don't even know where to start from. It's just messed up all the way. So we need to have our musicians and our movie stars, because I watch a lot of Nigerian movies that especially the Yoruba movies, that they start talking about these fraudsters' names. This one will give him money, that one will give him money, and the boys on Instagram, they're always begging for giveaway. Chairman, give us giveaway. Like, bro, you don't care about how the guy makes his money. You don't care what the guy does for a living. All you just want is the money. And that is my main point. Nigerian politicians have weaponized poverty to the detriment of Nigeria as a nation. Nigerians don't care about how you make the money because they are too poor to think straight. And if our religious leaders, our politicians, our influencers as musicians and movie stars and all those people do not address these issues by, especially the political leaders, by fixing the nation, we have these young men, smart men, doing fraud. And I'm not trying to be like I'm Holy Ghost here or anything, because the fraud is such a big thing in Nigeria. Internet scam is such a big thing. Everybody knows somebody that is doing fraud. So I'm not trying to say that, but I'm saying that the situations, the circumstances in the nation kind of promoted those kind of activities. Because people don't care how you make money. They just want to just make money. And that's wrong. So we need our political leaders to be ashamed. Not to say we don't know this HushPuppi guy or whatever, but to be ashamed that they put us in that situation that made those boys to be scammers today. If you have provided basic amenities like uninterrupted power supply, like water to drink, like housing, like motorable roads, like education, optimum education, like good healthcare system, like food and other physiological needs, would we be in this situation? I don't think so. If you had promoted and helped us to see the good in our teachers and made them live a good life, our lecturers in colleges, our professionals, the smart ones in schools, if you had promoted them, like all this spelling bees, all this competition, and help these kids to be great, maybe not be in this situation. But Nigeria is a country that people have lost hope. I have friends in Nigeria, I have family members in Nigeria that they've essentially lost hope and they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel at all. They don't see it because they say there's no light at all. We have a country in Nigeria where it's just 2020, and they are less than a year into this current administration and they are already talking about 2023 elections. What about the people? This is what happens. So Nigeria now, look at this for a second. Because our pastors are preaching prosperity, our religious leaders are preaching prosperity, our parents are not asking us where we got our money from, our community is saying give away, give us money. Our musicians are praising us for just being rich, and the political leaders are not even questioning us or prosecuting us, or in fact they are telling us to do whatever we want to do, that they don't care, they are busy stealing their own money. We have created men in Nigeria now that are essentially, not everybody in Nigeria, but a lot of our men in Nigeria does not respect women, are less educated, are quick to agitation, and lack basic understanding of some simple fundamental things. Like, don't steal to make money. Work hard and make your money. Some Nigerian men are rapists. We are fighting tribal wars. We have the Fulanis killing people down south and some other parts in the north because they are Christians going on. That tells you that the population is not educated, right? People are kidnapping. There's tribal stuff going on. There's religious stuff going on as well. Our young boys don't believe in education. Somebody go to school to be an economist, then is a fashion designer. Does that make any sense? A biochemist is in a bank working. Does that make any sense? There are no hospitals when these guys are dying. The politicians are dying because there are no hospitals to most of the guys that are dying from the coronavirus, because they could have traveled. Normally they would have traveled abroad. They would have gone to the UK or Saudi or India for treatment, because the country do what is locked down now, and they have not built a good infrastructure. Imagine this. I once said it back then on Twitter that Senator Ajimobi, may so rest in peace, was not doing a good job with the people of Ibadan, of Oyo State, when the state was on strike for a long time, and he was telling them that they should respect his words. delegated authority. These are students that are supposed to graduate and have been home for over a year, and you're telling them that they should respect you. Have you respected them? So when he got sick, there is no hospital in the whole of Oyo State that would be able to treat him because they have not invested in the healthcare system. Now he's dead. How come? And these are men that went to school, intelligent people, but they do things foolishly. So a student went to school now, does not get the job, and expects him to, where they say an idle man is a devil's workshop. And when you're hungry, like I've always said, you'll be angry. So we have abductors in our men, scammers, fraudsters, election ballot snatchers, and all those things going on, armed robbers, rapists. What has Nigeria turned our men to? Nigeria as a country has made our men become this bad example for men. The society is not good. So HushPuppi's case and MrWoodBerry's case is a direct result of a failed state which is Nigeria. And I'm so sorry to say this. The ones that want to do good for the country, like Dora Akunyili, like MKO Abiola and the rest of them, like Awolowo, they have always been silenced. It's that you beat them or you join them. Now most people are joining them. Until we fix these things about our country and understand what it is to be a Nigerian, our nationhood. Now lady said then, one people, great nation, right? And she's dead now. May our lovely story rest in peace. Talking about Dora Akunyili and stuff like that, men like that, Justice Oputa and men, great men like that. There are too much to feel I could see. So this is what I'm talking about. We have to have a system that encourages hard work, that encourages diligence, that encourages, nationhood, morality, our value system. We were not like this. Now we have become our own worst enemy. Nigerians do drugs like crazy now. People don't believe in hard work. People don't believe in obeying. People don't believe in structures, in institutions, because they've all failed Nigerians. And we can't keep living our lives like this. I hope the rest of these guys will make the people in authority to sit back and sit tight and do the right thing for this nation before it completely falls off the rail. Because these thieves that call themselves politicians, they are doing nothing good for the people. There's no direct, meaningful development or impact on the Nigerian person. I don't know what they are doing. So this is my whole podcast today. These guys have stolen millions of dollars, and if found guilty, I pray that they meet justice, because you cannot scam millions of people and then you just want to go scot-free. I don't support that. I don't encourage that. But I hope Nigeria as a nation will get its act right and fix the nation for good. So I'll leave you with this quote from Glenn Donat, a former senior prosecutor in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, D.C. She says, "I think there's probably a certain arrogance when they believe they've been careful about maintaining anonymity in their online identities, but they live high on the hog and get careless on social media." So for all internet fraudsters out there in Nigeria, all over the world, and you live a life like this, or you think that they cannot get you, believe me, the FBI has your information, and when the time is right, they're gonna come get you. Say no to internet scam, say no to fraud, work hard, believe in yourself, pray to God, and be logical. I remain Asana Raju. Thanks a lot for listening to Astropods. Bye for now.